Now, the reason why the establishment and the reason why I was sympathetic to Tulsi Gabbard and backed her campaign for president was because there was a time she was telling the truth about Syria and that it was a regime change. We shouldn't be there. We should get out of there and all that stuff. And what do you make of her now? And I haven't heard her say anything constructive about Syria right now. What do you make of her turn?
Jimmy Dore raises some interesting concerns about Tulsi Gabbard. Let's see what Jimmy Dore has to say.
Well, I'm sure she's been advised to say as little as possible until confirmation hearings take place or until the new Senate and administration are in session. Because a few weeks ago, we were told she had an uphill fight to being director of national intelligence. She was obviously under an enormous level of attack from the national security establishment. And
why would they be attacking her?
Well, because she took one of the most courageous stands on Syria of any member of the U.S. government. Went there and visited and met with all factions. She met with the opposition. They threw her under the bus, of course. And she met with the leader, which you have to do, Bashar al-Assad, if you're going to be a diplomat and try to broker peace to end that conflict that was leading to so much death. And that's what any American official should be doing. But she was working against the interests of the U.S. government that wanted to get to the point we're currently at, where Syria is being recolonized and is basically destroyed as a state, just as Libya was. So she came back. I went to her press conference in 2017 where she called for the Senate, the House first, and then the Senate to pass a bill banning U.S. weapons to jihadist groups, not just Al-Qaeda, but Harar al-Sham and other groups that were involved in hideous atrocities across Syria and that explicitly stated that they aimed to establish an Islamic State. And these were groups that were being armed through the U.S. Incirlik Air Base in Turkey. So it was known they were getting U.S. arms. And she was then demonized in the Washington Post by neocons like Josh Rogan and all throughout media for daring to challenge this dastardly program. She's taken positions on, peace in Korea or on Russia that stand at odds with our psychotic national security state. And I think that's brave of her. At the same time, she's taken pro-genocide positions on Gaza, especially as she got closer and closer to Trump world and apparently was guaranteed some kind of position in a future Trump administration, because that's what you got to do. You got to kiss the ring of the Israel First donors of Trump's campaign, like Miriam Adelson. So Tulsi Gabbard's a mixed bag. It's unclear which Tulsi is going to show up. But now we're starting to see reports that she is likely to be confirmed by the Senate. I don't know what to believe, but that
If you enjoy content like this, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. Let's continue.
Suggests to me that she's made some kind of concessions to senators like Lindsey Graham, who is the most neoconservative, most warlike figure in the Senate, who is also the most powerful figure on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and who has made himself a figure in the America First world of Trump, despite seemingly standing at odds with what it represents. So I'm worried about the direction Tulsi could be going in, but she'll only be director of national intelligence. I mean, I think what's needed is to have someone bring accountability to the so-called intelligence community that is neither intelligent nor particularly communal, to actually produce honest assessments. And remember, Trump was constantly being manipulated and attacked by his own intelligence chiefs who would feed him phony intelligence assessments and then go to the media and say Trump disregarded this or that intelligence assessment. So I think he wants someone loyal in Tulsi Gabbard. And, I have the same feeling about Kash Patel, which is like, I don't actually think he's going to save the FBI from itself. And he's also someone who's really hawkish on Israel. He's not going to end the so-called war on terror and all the crazy fake terror plots and investigations that came with it. But he has said that the FBI needs to be depoliticized and not be used as a weapon against an American president that was elected, that it should possibly be moved from its J. Edgar Hoover headquarters, which is a great idea. It should probably be funded less and have less agents working on political matters and working instead on crime, things like human trafficking and killings across state borders, things like that. So I think that can't be any worse than what we had before, but we'll have to see. I mean, who was the DNI before? Like James Clapper, who lied to Congress about mass surveillance, who was just a neocon fanatic. So it's like, I don't know what Tulsi will show up, but I can't imagine it being worse than anything that preceded her.
I'm with you on that. I just have, I have, what I've been saying is I have hope. I don't have faith. I have, we'll see what happens. It took a lot of courage for her to stand up against all that stuff she took. I mean, the former First Lady and Secretary of State called her a Russian asset. And they had the goons following her around. They had spies following her around from the government as she traveled in airports. She was on the terror watch list or some kind of crazy. I mean, and all she did was tell the truth about Syria. I mean, that which took a lot of courage and guts, which is why I backed her and when she ran for president, because I saw what was happening. And nobody else seemed to give a shit about Syria. Nobody else seemed to care that the establishment was coming against her.
Well, what I would say is, I know she watches your show, and I've received messages from people around her when we've defended her in the past against disgusting attacks like Hillary Clinton accusing her of being a Russian asset. And
when it comes to Trump's new regime, I just hope that they do, for the most part, what they promise. I'm not expecting I'm not expecting them to do 100% of what they promise, because I know there's a lot of factors that go into this stuff. But I hope that, for the most part, that they do what they promised they would. Understandably, Tulsi Gabbard might not want to speak out about that stuff right now, maybe until she's officially elected in there, or voted in, I should say. And only time will tell how these picks will do. What do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section below and let me know what you thought of Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal's thoughts on the matter. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. Smash that like button. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies for you on the screen to click away and enjoy.